Yo, peace to man, AJ McQueen, and I just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove back.
Comes to evolve and I'm an advocate. I learned how to have peace by not having it. Sometimes you gotta lose earth.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. We got AJ McQueen jumping off the porch with us today. What's up, bro?
Peace to the God. Glad to be here, brother.
Yes, sir, man. It's a pleasure to have you, bro. How you feeling?
I feel blessed, bro. I feel present. You know what I'm saying? I'm here in this room.
Yeah.
My mind ain't nowhere else. I promise you that.
Nah, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up, man. How Atlanta been treating you so far, bro?
Man, I love Atlanta. Atlanta, I love the energy. I love black people. You know what I'm saying? So I love being wherever we at. It's just been a beautiful week, bro.
Yeah.
You know, making my rounds, press run for the new album.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Nah, that's what's up, man. It ain't nothing like the energy in Atlanta, just seeing black folks prospering and, you know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah.
Because where I come from, that ain't, that's not the case.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Milwaukee, and I understand, like, on the same tip, like, segregated city, like, when you see black folks, it's usually, it's usually on a negative vibe, unfortunately.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or people just in, dire circumstances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, now that's what's up, man. So yeah, bro, you've been doing your thing, been really making noise, you know what I'm saying, over the past few years, for real, and building your fan base, continuing to like build new followers, and from the looks of your comments and everything, like they almost seem like family members.
Yeah. Yeah, man, honestly, bro, I can boldly and confidently and even humbly say, I've had followers way before Instagram. You know what I mean? Like I'm a natural born leader, bro. So like, way before it was marketable, or it was, you could use it as propaganda in that way. Like I've just always been a natural leader. Any room that I go in, you know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful to see it translate all these years later into, what it is now. That's a gift from God.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you being intentional in your message, uplifting folks. Where does that come from? Where does the, you wanting to spread the message that you are, where does that come from?
And I grew up seeing that, my whole life. Like my grandma was a councilwoman, you know what I mean? So, and then I was taught about who I was, you heard me, way before somebody told me who I was. You know what I mean? So I always was taught that, you know what I mean? I spent years living out of a suitcase that somebody else packed, but the moment that I unpacked and I returned to who I was, it's just always been there, you know what I'm saying? Because that's where God put it, right? So, I grew up around leaders, community leaders, organizers, people that's not afraid to speak, rally, marching, protesting. So it's amazing how my life naturally went that way when I stopped trying to redirect the traffic or redirect the natural flow. You know what I mean? Like, so I just always been surrounded by it. You know what I'm saying? The Panthers, Supreme Mathematics, just knowing who I am, growing up in St. Louis, like, how people like, man, I'm from the streets, bro, I'm from the hood, bro. I'm from government boxes, you heard me? I'm from drinking out the side of the house, for that good water.
Yeah.
That water used to hit.
Man, come on, man.
On a hot day, I'm from where no swimming pool, we had to bust open the fire hydrant with a monkey wrench.
Yeah.
I'm from, like poverty, where everything's outside your front door. So the only thing you can do is go within. You know what I mean? So, and I was able to find my gifts through turmoil, right? You know what I mean? Like I was abused as a child. So, being abused also pointed me inward, right? And just to find my gifts, that's where I found my gift of writing. You know what I mean? I found my gift of writing, and I've never been afraid to talk. And so that's why I believe that God uses me in this way,
Yeah. Folks don't know about that government cheese, that powdered milk.
The government cheese, the powdered milk, the Vienna sausage.
Come on, man.
The Vienna with some hot sauce.
Bro.
You heard me? Yeah, it got us through, man. And I'm grateful for that, though. I'm grateful for all of that because that's what grounds me. Even in these rooms that I'm able to go in now, like I'm still just a grounded individual, you know what I mean? And I don't use where I'm at now to look down on anybody because I know where I come from. I'm from the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gangbang, I've been shot, I done lost friends. I done seen the most beautiful girl in the hood turn into a crackhead. I done seen the most beautiful girl in the hood lose her teeth. You know what I mean? And I've seen pretty privilege and I've seen no pretty privilege. You You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for the whole scope, and that's where I come from with my music and just my message. It's the whole scope. It's holisticness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Originally being from St. Louis, at an early age, what was influencing you?
What was influencing me? Man, God had his hand on me, brother. Like I didn't have, I grew up in dysfunction, truly, you know what I mean? And that's not me wanting to make it sound like something like, if you know my story, I mean, you guys, my mama, like, it's just whatever she had to deal with, I had to deal with it too. You know what I'm saying? My sisters and I. So, my influence was God, bro. But I've always been a fan of things that grow. You know what I mean? Like I used to go outside and, I used to make friends with all of the insects, bro. Like I used to catch fireflies, and I used to play with bugs and make mud pies, and you know what I mean. I'm only boy too, you know what I'm saying, out of 4 sisters, so I had to express myself differently, you know what I mean, and I had to make fun out of everything, because I didn't have the luxury of having what my neighbor down the street had or somebody had, you know what I mean. And growing up in an abusive household, it forces you to have to cope in different ways. And so as a child, my coping was writing. It was just being outside, like real nature, like I'm talking about, like we got some dirt, we got a little patch of grass, oh, it's lit. You know what I'm saying? It's lit, you know what I mean? So, and that's how it's amazing how as I've grown that I still find beauty in the simple things. You know what I mean? My influence is just things that grow, bro. I love things that grow, people that triumph, you know what I mean? The old lady down the street, Miss Dorothy down the block, you know what I'm saying, who, she just by herself. You ever think about in the hood, you ever see just the old lady that's just by herself, that's been kicking, and that's been, like, you don't know nothing, but you just know she always there, like a tree. You know what I mean? That inspires me, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've always seen strong black women around me. I've always been surrounded by strong black women. And inadvertently, it's like, if they could do it, I can too. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Being the only boy in a household full of women, did you feel the pressure at an early age to be the man of the house and have to take on that responsibility?
Yeah, like for sure. I wasn't really given a space to be emotional in any way, right? And I think that a lot of us as little black boys, especially when mom is doing the best she can, you take it as a responsibility to figure it out very fast. You know what I mean? So you don't have the capacity to learn at the proper rate that a little black boy should be, learn that. So, yeah, man. But I had a very interesting contrast, because on one end I got 4 sisters and all that, but on the other end, my cousins, you know what I'm saying, like, gang members, you know what I'm saying? So, and gang members, I say it in a way that's like, I don't want to make it sound like viciousness, but like, you know what I mean? We from 6400, you know what I mean? And so I took pride in that too. So it's the contrast of that, being in tune, watching my sisters, watching my mama, you know what I mean, nurture themselves, but also seeing my cousins go out here and, you know what I mean, activate themselves. Yeah. So I'm like the middle ground of both. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro, fast track. But me, my path that I had, like if you would leave it up to my wisdom, me being the man of the house is going out here shaking penitentiary chances and figuring it out. But it came from purity, though. It's not, most little black boys, they come from purity. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was outside some years back. I was spreading a good message. You know what I'm saying? And I met a youth, and he was selling weed. And you go give him a message. And this is when I realized that you can't tell somebody what they're doing wrong without giving them an opportunity to do it right. Right? So I'm like, bro, you ain't gotta, you hear me? Do this. He like, man, my baby sister need diapers. And that's why I was like, oh, yeah. So you either gonna give him some money, right? You either gonna buy the diapers, or you get out of his way. You know what I mean? And so when I look back on my life, that's how I was introduced to the streets early on. You know what I mean? And I don't want to get up here and say like I was just some, you know what I mean, like some vicious gangster. But I'm still here, and a lot of people not. So I let people figure out, the rest of it. You know what I mean? But getting shot at an early age is what really greatly impacted my life. That was like my first awakening for real.
Yeah. A lot of people try to spread a positive message and tell people what they should or shouldn't be doing in the neighborhoods or who are like in these certain circumstances, but they don't come with answers. They don't come with solutions. So it kind of go over deaf ears because it's like, if you look like you done made it, but you coming and telling me what I shouldn't be doing, but don't have any solutions for me, I can't really listen to you.
Yeah, I think the thing that helped me really understand that when I was in college, I took communication. I took I found a big interest in sociology. You know what I mean? Like the study of groups and and how people operate. And for me, because I want to really understand my path. Because I got shot and I got sent away, so I stayed with multiple families throughout high school. So I wasn't around my mama or my daddy or my sisters like in a long span. I only saw them on holidays, even to this day.
Yeah.
I just moved my mama out the hood, you know what I mean? And so we were able to have this whole different experience that I never had.
Congrats
but
on
prior
that.
to that, thank you, brother. But prior to that, you heard me, I ain't never had that.
Yeah.
So I've had to acclimate and I'm around this family, I'm around that family, I'm around the Rastafarians, I'm around this couple, I'm around the Christian folk, so I'm a survivalist, right?
Yeah.
But what I've learned, and it's a reason why God put me through that, because I've learned something, and that's why there's a message that I only can say, because I've seen that, and I'm not. That's not my approach. If you follow me, if you watch my interviews, my music, that's not my approach. I'm a demonstrator. I'd rather demonstrate and show, you know what I mean? But I'm not a fan of telling people what to do. And people that do that don't really understand systems and how things are systematic, right? Like you have to implode, you have to infiltrate and implode from the inside, but standing on the outside telling people what they're doing wrong without understanding who put us here, why they put us here, and not stopping there, because I'm not a fan of still complaining about, 500 years ago either.
Right.
So I want to be clear. But we have to acknowledge, and then we have to progress forward by offering a different solution. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For sure.
In one of your songs, you said, I didn't jump off the porch, I got thrown off.
Yeah.
What age would you say you jumped off the porch or got thrown off?
I got thrown off? Yeah. I want to say like 11, you know what I'm saying? Like, and most people that's really come from that, it starts that young, you know what I mean? You see your uncles, you see your cousins, and, you know what I mean? Like, my uncle did like 27 years in the pen, you know what I mean? And I had two stepbrothers, they got murdered when I was younger, so I didn't grow up with, that. So yeah, and my uncle, the beautiful thing about my uncle being in the pen, he would call me, and he would send me books and stuff, and that's how I started to learn about my ancestral roots, and I started to study, more Scientology. I first saw a picture of Noble Drew Ali, and I was like, oh, I want to look like that. You know what I mean? Strong black man posture. You know what I mean? Like no slouching, no none of that, no sagging, none of that. I don't want to, but I want to look like that. You know what I mean? So I started to see that, and but yeah, like 11, man, I was exposed to different things. I'm in the cars that I shouldn't be in. I'm seeing activities that I shouldn't see. You heard me? And then it went from there. So.
You said that as a teenager, you got shot.
Yeah.
And that was the moment that made you sort of change your life and move away from St. Louis, right?
Well, in a way, like that's the quick spark notes. But I was prophesied to that I was gonna get shot before I got shot. Yeah, I know. So my mom and my sisters, we moved to Houston when I was 8.
Okay.
You heard me, and I was there for 2 years. I thought that I'm a child, so I don't know why we here. I'm thinking we just visiting because I have an aunt in Houston. But as I got older, I realized she was running from her ex-boyfriend. And so that's how I met the family. I met one of the families I ended up staying with. And so we became friends for those 2 years. So I got older, you heard me, but we always stayed in contact with the family. I got a little older, and I was introduced to some things. I was in some things that I couldn't get out of. And I always had a deep sense of like I've always been in tune with how I feel, you know what I'm saying? So I went to my bird and I'm like, you know, can I go to Houston to visit? You know what I mean? But I knew that what I had did that school year, something was gonna come from it, and I've always been very protective of the women in my life, you know what I mean? So I didn't really want that to come home, you know what I mean? So so she was like, yeah, where you wanna go? I said, Houston. We contacted the family, they're like, yeah, you can come visit. So I was in Houston for, I wanna say this is when I was 14. Yeah, I was in Houston for like 2 weeks. And then but the family, I'm not the little boy that they saw at eight no more. You heard me? I got little bitty locks in my hair. Well, they twisties. We used to call them twisties. I'm sagging. I'm listening to Pac on a CD player. You heard me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm thugging, and so I'm arguing with them because they trying to get me to go to church and make my bed up perfect, and you know what I mean, like instill wisdom. I'm like, nah, you know. So I start arguing with them, and I told my brother, I'm like, I want to come home. She's like, okay, cool. So, and mind you, I was commuting by train. We didn't have enough money for the airplane, so I was on the Amtrak. The day I was leaving Houston, Miss Johnson, she came to me crying, and she said, don't go, don't go. God showed me a vision that you was beating on my door, and when I opened the door, you had bullet holes all in you, you died. And at that time, you know, I grew up seeing like black Jesus and black Adam and Eve, and you know the black picture of the Passover, you know what I'm saying? That's the Jesus that so I started when I started to see the other things going on. I'm like, I don't know about that. So I didn't know what God she was talking about. So I'm like, cool. Push back on it. I ended up leaving anyways. 2 days later, I'm in the hood. You heard me, and I'm in Baden at the time. And those who watch this, if you're from St. Louis, you'll know. Cause I'm from Wellston and I'm from Baden. Okay. So, but they're two different sides of the spectrum, like two different hoods, two different politics. So I'm in Baden at the time, but I'm beamed up. I got red shirt, black jeans, red feelers, a do-rag. Like I remember my whole outfit. And that day I'm there, and it was crazy. I was with the person that abused me my whole life. Crazy story. Stockholm syndrome. It's crazy. Even little black boys deal with Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. When daddy not there, for whatever reason, because my dad was not a deadbeat, but my mama made it difficult for him. I don't think people say that story. Where's my camera? Have grace on your daddy. My daddy wasn't a deadbeat. My mama made it difficult for him. So I want to say that. So because of that, I grew up around a whole nother man, you know what I'm saying? And that man, even though he beat the hell out of me, I just, I felt, I don't know. So I was with him when I got shot, you know what I mean? So I'm standing in front of the house, and the car came down the street, and I could see it. It was a slow-mo, and they came, and they threw sets. We threw sets or whatever, and they came back like 30 minutes later. I didn't see it. They got out the car and walked down, and I got shot. I was the only person that got shot out of 7 people. So it was a whole story. It ain't just, I don't want to just make it like, oh yeah, you got shot, change your life. Like, no, God sent the messenger, you heard me? Like, and I didn't take heed. And then I got shot, and I didn't even know I was shot until like reality set in, and then I'm in the ambulance, and the paramedic made a joke like, damn, he's like the 7th one tonight, you know what I mean? So, and keep in mind, I'm a child, and I know, like, we dehumanize little black boys in the hood early. I was a child still, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of children going through things that grown adults don't go through. So, I want to leave that there as we talk about trauma. But you know what I mean? And then, so getting in the ambulance, going to the hospital, what really changed me was not getting shot. It was my mama's face. You heard me? I disappoint. Like, it was, if I could, I can't even describe the look of, like, you know what I mean? Because getting, when it's a certain way, it's a domino effect. And my mama's face, her standing by the hospital bed, looking at me in my eyes, like, disappointed. I'm the only boy. Then my daddy coming to the hospital, and he got a gun on him. And then the hospital on lockdown because it was gang related. All those series of events, and then being isolated for the first time in my life as a child, like away from everybody. That's the first time I was able to sit still, and it was just chilling. It was bone chilling in the hospital as a 14-year-old, 15. My birthday was a couple weeks from there, so that's why I tell people I got shot at 15. But bone chilling in a cold hospital with your whole body feeling numb, and you gotta be by yourself. You heard me? And then my cousin, when I got shot, one of my cousins came to the hospital, and the first thing she said, the first thing I said to her was call Miss Johnson. So she called the lady that prophesied to me and told her I got shot. And so instantly she started praying on the phone. You can hear her. She was the interceder. She's still an interceder to this day. She's an intercessor prayer. You got to keep one of them. You got to keep a lot of them. That's why I believe in the power of prayer.
Absolutely.
You got to have some interceders. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You still her. You probably still her because of the prayers of a black woman. You hear me?
I believe
It will never lose its power.
Yeah.
So she prophesied. She interceded. She was calling down angels, calling down heaven for me on the phone. You heard me? And then, so it was a series. So I didn't want to I want to give you the full scope right here, in respect of the Porch. But like some people heard my story and they'll think that, and sometimes you can't really give them the whole, so I just let it, I got shot, and now I turned my positivity on. But no, it was a series of events, and then a couple weeks later, I was battling, because now I'm in the streets, now I got some stripes. The people that shot me ended up dying, something happened to them, and now it's like, okay, cool, I'm cool. My mom was like, you finna leave, and you're not coming back. And so I fought my bird, and I'm like, I'm not leaving. My mama punched me. My mom used to wear rings like this, like it was small, like more womanly rings, but she used to have gold rings.
Yeah.
She fighting me, you're leaving. But I'm battling because everybody in the hood like, bro, you got shot and you young, you boy, when you do this, everybody finna respect you now, because I battled, you heard me? And she sent me on that train, brother, so, and then I couldn't come back.
Was your mindset after you recovered from being shot that you could continue on the path that you was on, or did you ever at any point think that I need to change this? I do need to.
No, I went to school. I got kicked out the first school I went to because they school colors was blue, and I really hated blue. I ain't wear blue until what, like a few years ago. I'm talking about. But I did it as a declaration of me breaking that spirit off of me. I did it at one of my biggest shows. It was 3,000 people out there. I wore a blue button up on purpose. You heard me? To the point to where my cousins, questioning me. You know what I mean? I stopped locking up with them. I had to break a spirit off of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't even lock up no more. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what I'm pushing. It's God body now. You know what I mean? But at that time, I got kicked out the first school I was in. And so I went to another school. I wore red for like probably the first 2 years of school. I was connected to I identified with the 10 block radius, you know what I mean? And so it wasn't until somebody gave me the gospel, you know what I mean, that I realized that my life had deeper purpose to it. So my foundation of who I am is the gospel, you know what I'm saying? And somebody telling me that God had a plan for me. And it was a black man that told me that. So, but it was a black woman that took me in. That's been my whole life. Yeah. All the families I stayed with, it was a black woman that was like, where you going? Where you sleeping at?
Yeah.
Did you eat today? You heard me? And then it was a black man, if he was around. That was the only black man that showed me that. But he used to be in the military. So and it's the same family that I disrespected. That I was like, I ain't coming back here. They say you come back. And they showed me the love of God. And they gave me an extra bed in their room, so I'm always gonna be indebted to them in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, they gave me the gospel, bro, and I made my first song on the tape recorder. And I was talking about how God, it was a little tape recorder, you know what I mean? I found some beats on the computer. The beats was whack, you know what I'm saying? But I had to get my stuff off, and I made my first song, and my song's about getting shot, and God protected me.
On the music side of things, who was influencing you? Who were some artists that you was listening to?
It's very interesting. I just told the story the other day, but growing up in the households I grew up in with my cousins and them, you know what I'm saying? Like, we on Pac, Scarface Hot Boys, you know what I mean? Like real like outlaw, you know what I'm saying? Outlaw stuff. Like I was a big fan of Outlaws.
Right.
Like, big fan of Pac. You hear me? I don't know if people could tell to this day, but I was a big fan of Pac growing up. But when I'm with my sisters, I'm hearing Sade and Anita Baker and Monica and Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My grandma, she used to have cassettes, and the only 2 cassettes she had. If you go to my grandma's house, you're gonna sit down in one spot, You heard me? My grandma ain't believe in games, no electronics. I mean, well, no game systems or whatever. She had Forrest Gump and Sister Act. That's all you can watch her. I don't know why. But that's all she had. And so the story of Forrest Gump used to inspire me still to this day. And Lauryn Hill, you know, I was just enamored by Lauryn Hill. That's the first like black woman I saw that outside of my sisters that I ever like admired, and it was through a screen. And then I heard Miseducation, and I knew that I wanted to make music that felt like that, but also wanted to make music that felt like pop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then the different families I stayed in, I was different influences. So, you know, Bob Marley, because I was around a lot of Jamaicans in my life, the Rastafari, and then of course the gospel. You know what I mean? Fred Hampton, the Shekinah Glories, all of that, and then you get into the Commons, and you get into, you know, the Sades, and just people that move me. You know what I'm saying? The Mozart, and yeah, you get me. You all that wrapped up, you get me.
Yeah. Now, did you start recording music? Was this at the same time that you started on your path of gaining knowledge yourself?
Nah, bro. I didn't even. I've always been able to rap. I started off battle rapping. You know what I mean? Like beating on the table. Like I'm real like hood baby. We be on the table. You know what I mean? We rapping. But when I got after that awakening, that first awakening, getting shot and realizing I had purpose. I'm fast tracking you, but I got into politics. I wanted to be a politician. You know what I mean? I felt like from my view that I can affect change. You know what I mean? Like you can ask my mommy. If we called her, she'd tell you, she used to always say, boy, you're gonna be the first black president. You know what I mean? So I went politics. When I was in school, I fell in love with political science. And so I wanted to be somebody that can affect real change. And so I started community organizing. My first business I ever started was a nonprofit organization. You know what I mean, 501c3. And I was invited to be, my first introduction to like, you know, TV or to the people, I was invited on BET 106 in Park at 19. So that's where I started at. They heard my story. I used to be in a group. They heard my story through like this conference that we did, and they picked me out of all these people and said, you're coming on this show. And they made a teen violence special off of my story. So they wanted me to come on the show and talk about getting shot, like literally what I'm telling you, but it was live. And Terrence and Roxy, they did not like me, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I kept talking about God. I was talking about Jesus, you know what I'm saying? I was like, listen, Jesus saved my life. You know what I mean? Like this, you know, and it really was my launching pad. I started getting booked all across the country. And this before Instagram, this is MySpace. So I started getting booked at 19, and I wrote my first book when I was 23. And but I wouldn't get booked for music. They wanted me to talk. Yeah. Because they put youth activists on the screen, and I didn't even know what an activist was. So they put that on the screen. Next thing you know, I'm getting booked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hopping on planes and just figuring it out. No team, no nothing. You heard me? Just me and one person, and we just figuring it out. And I wrote my book. I started my nonprofit, and then I got awarded the White House Service Achievement Award from Barack Obama. You know what I mean? So that was one of my first awards, and then I got the Congressional Certificate from Congress the day of my graduation from college. And then I got, and while this is happening, I'm rallying, I'm protesting, I'm marching. I'm protesting for everybody that the cops ever killed, all of us. You know what I'm saying? Sandra Bland, Samir Rice, Mike Brown. I'm front line. You can find pictures of me all on the internet. I'm with the mayor. I'm pushing the mayor. I'm lobbying. I'm at the House floor pushing bills through. You know what I'm saying? In a bandana and some chucks. You know what I mean? Like no suit, no none of that. Like I mean, you'll see that part of me. And I went to the Million Man March. I'm there. I'm at these different places. I'm like, I'm gonna be a politician, bro. I'm gonna do it. And then I went to the D.C. and I was at the State of the Union, and I saw Obama speak for the first time. And when I walked out of there, as soon as I walked out the double doors, I had cameras in my face. And they were asking me about my story. And I thought I was weird because I'm like, it was crazy. I'm like, and then I realized what was happening. This is when gun control, like they were trying to push some laws through, and they were using me. You heard me? They were using me. They used my story. You know what I mean? And that day, and then I was with the Congresswoman, rest in peace, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. I loved her. She's like an auntie to me. And she told me straight up, like, not in so many words, you don't want to do this, but you can do more than this. She told me how she got elected, the people elected her, but she like, you can do more than this. She offered me a job to be on a part of her cabinet. I turned it down, and I went on a different path. And so now you get a rebel, you get somebody that doesn't. I don't fit in the church. I don't fit in politics. I don't fit in none of these systems, man, at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a true rebel to it all because I'm chosen for that way. So it wasn't music. It was definitely politics.
Yeah. At this time when you're gaining all this notoriety on the politics side, activist, community organizer side, are you having aspirations to also, be popular for music as well, or that's not even a focus at all?
I wouldn't even, bro. Like, it's kind of looking back on it as you asked it. It's wild because it was nowhere in my mind. Like, you can ask the people I have around me. Like, I always could rap, and I would show little flurs of talent. You hear me? Like, and whenever I would do it, the doors open wide up, but then I just wouldn't focus on it. You know what I'm saying? I started doing it. I was politics. I did all of that. Wrote a book. I was a speaker, poet, activist, all the things. It's like, then when you gonna rap? And then in 2018, Sway invited me to rap on Sway in the Morning. I did that, and then that was like that was a little flare of like, man, you can do this. And I went back to like, I'm gonna start a water company. Like I just started doing different things. You know what I'm saying? In my first book, I called it the Jonah Complex. The Jonah Complex is the fear of how great you might be. You might be great, but you don't want to continue to go down that road to figure it out because now you're gonna be responsible for the greatness that you see. So I was afraid of my own greatness. You know what I mean? A lot of people are. You know what I mean? So no, it wasn't. And that's how I know I'm called for this. That's how I know I'm chosen for this because I went everywhere else, and I've seen so much success from it all, brother. But God is like, look, I'm telling you what to do. And as soon as I pushed everything back, and I had my last awakening. I've had 3 awakenings in my life: getting shot, my dad dying, and I had a real bad breakup that just made me look myself in the mirror and was like, dog, who are you? And so with those combinations, you get this evolved person. And it was that I said, okay, I'm gonna take this music thing seriously. So I looked at my people and I said, look, I know I done sent y'all all through the emotions with me. I know I've told you I can do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna be the best ever at this music stuff. And they like, okay, bet. And when I focus on it, brother, boom, I'm telling you, like, I'm telling you, so the things I've done, and because of how I started, like when I was on BT, 106 Park, I was on there twice. I spoke and then I performed too. And I just saw a lot of stuff. I was offered a contract very early on in my life by some people that didn't even know my story. And it turned me off. And I've had a lot of other things that turned me off. That's why I chose to be independent, because I was exposed early on what that looks like, what the numbers and the money and all that look like, and I just never wanted to put myself in those systems. I got on this music stuff. I made my own label, my own brand, my own company. I put my people around me, and now I'm gonna go on my 4th tour, and this is thousands of followers later on Instagram, and my mom out the hood, and I still got my soul.
Yeah, it's interesting because, when you talk about like all the, community organizing you were doing, and then I saw like in your music that you had done a feature with Tef Poe, who I know, and I know he was like heavily involved in like in a lot of stuff that was happening in Ferguson. So I kind of assumed, just hearing you talk now, that maybe you were doing music and you know what I mean, maybe you guys connected.
No, we did. Okay. Listen, brother, when Mike Brown got killed, I was one of the first. And I say this humbly, I was one of the first to know. My aunt lived in that same complex. He got killed in the middle of the street. My aunt lived in the complex, so she, bad news travels quick. You know what I mean? So I knew something happened, and I was already at that time. She's like, you need to call AJ. You need to come down here. And this before it just took national things. So I was out there. Tef, T-Dub, Darren Seals. spoke. They a lot of them was there early on. You know what I mean? And I have to shout them out. It's only proper. They were there at ground zero. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so me being away, I would go home. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm outside with Darren Seals late at night. It's a picture of me, and I'll send it to you. It's an iconic picture of me standing in the middle of the street, and there's the whole Ferguson Police Department fully geared up, shields, everything, and ARs, all that, and I got my fist in the air. And Darren Seals is standing around the side of me. He got killed. You know what I'm saying? And we know who did it, but I was there. Yeah. I rallied, I protested. My mama, I came home and she like, boy, I don't want you hurt. And I'm dressed in all black. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, but even I don't do activism in that way anymore, because I've even learned something about that. You know what I mean? Like I'm here to create systems and create mass movements. You know what I'm saying? And job movement, like a movement that God can really push. But individual activism, while I can respect, and so many have lost their lives, sacrificed their lives for us to be here today. This ain't my grandma's civil rights movement no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's different. We gonna move differently, and we gonna make change, and we gonna do it in a way to where we don't need nothing. We build our own. And so that's why I push independence. Build it yourself. Nobody could ever take it from you. And so people like Tef are people I respect, and we align in the same way. Yeah. We had a tornado in St. Louis, and I was with Tef at one of the spots where we did the disaster relief. You know what I mean? We out there, making sure the people got what they need.
Yeah, my mentor, Rob Biko Baker, was down there, on the front line a lot. And so, when they were telling me stories about just how serious it was and how much in danger a lot of you guys were in being out there trying to help the people. Like, it was crazy to hear. Yeah. Now, your music, at what point did you said when you first started doing the music, like, you started getting, receiving good energy from it? Well, when you first,
kind of, sort of. When I first started, it was quiet. Because what
was that song that gave you that attention and let you know, like, you know what, I'm moving in the right direction?
I wrote a song called Anxiety.
Okay.
I started being vulnerable. You heard me? Can I talk about my anxiety and how depression come in all variety? They calling me a menace to society. Black man full of passion, they want to quiet me. Yeah, I tatted my face, they ain't gonna hire me, but that's okay. I'm just trying to reach the higher me. I work hard, but tell me where my notoriety. I got faith, but I be pissed off silently. Why these niggas trying me? Can I talk about my PTSD? Nah, cause I ain't fight no war overseas. I fought wars in the hood, and we was fighting overseas. And I put that out, and it broke the internet.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And I started seeing, I'm like, oh, and I was just in a house, bro. Like, I'm not just traditional, like, respect how artists get their stuff off in whatever environment you need. I'm not traditional, right? Like, I'm not like, I say this in a way, hopefully people understand what I'm saying, but like, I'm not the sweatshop artist, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to live, I need to live in my music, you heard me? Like, I need to be in a certain environment and create from that environment. Like, you can't just put me in a room and say, come out with 10 songs. Like, it's not happening. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I started making music in my yard, in my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, just not mixed, not nothing, you know what I'm saying? No mix. And I just put it on the internet. We recorded it, put it on the internet. And people just wanted to see it being translated in an authentic way. That's all they want, bro. Yeah. You can go up off of iPhone, man. Like, as long as the lighting good, they can hear you. If they feel it, it's over for you. You don't even need all the bells and whistles.
Yeah. Being from St. Louis, also living in Houston, two cities that are known for certain sounds, certain vibrations when it comes to the music. Did you ever have any apprehension when it came to delivering the type of message that you were delivering in your music?
Man, if you listen to a lot of my earlier music, man, like, I went through early emotion doing this, man. Like, I feel like I need to sound like somebody. Wayne is a big influence of mine. At one point, like, there's music you find, I used to try to sound like Wayne. And I want to sound like everybody. I used to change the pitch of my voice. I used to try to, have a different inflection in my tone and all the things. And so I wrestled with it, but it wasn't until like the 3 years ago, like when I started to like feel my music more, you know what I mean, and that it hit differently.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, now it's, you know, I'm able to write my own ticket, a lot, you know, in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? I move as if I'm signed to a major. I move with the way I move is wild. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? But I use my own money, man. We gonna put our own money up. We gonna bet on ourselves. How about it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you've been able to, you know, over these years with the few projects that you dropped, you've had like a wide range of artists that you've worked with. So it's not just restricted to a certain type of artist. I mean, from working with Propane to D Smoke, you know, two artists that I really respect and are fans of, Lizzie Jeff, and then my guy Londrell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. If I feel it, if I respect your campaign, I'm tapping in. Like I can't do the fake stuff. Like I'm really gonna tap in. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna tap in and we gonna build. And I've had some success in the area, and I've had some stuff that turned me off. You know what I mean? But it all comes with it. When you being raw, when you being organically yourself, you got to be able to take the good and the bad. You know?
Yeah. Now your last project, When We Evolve, has, you know, gotten a lot of acclaim. Now your music talks a lot about evolving, and even us right here, we're talking about evolving. Can you tell me like how you feel the difference is between evolving and changing?
That's a great question. Yeah, when you change, you can change back. You know what I mean? If you say, AJ, go in there, change your clothes, I could take my shirt off and put a different shirt. Technically, I changed my clothes. I could have on the same pants and shoes. But evolution is when nothing fits you no more. You need a whole new wardrobe. You need to, listen, nothing fits me, man. I need to. And then normally when you evolve, you don't want the same thing that you had on.
Right.
I don't want that. You know what I mean? I don't even want to be around the people. I want to go to them environments. I want to eat that food. I want to drink that. I don't, she was fine to me. She's not fine no more. You know what I mean? I don't want that type of woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like evolution is because it's from the inside out, it grows, you know. That's what my locks represent. I've had my locks for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? I like my hair early on, you know what I'm saying, like as a hairstyle. And then when I went through my awakening, I did my Nazarene oath, you know what I'm saying, became Rastafari. It means way more to me than that. But what it represents is evolution and the binding of something, you know what I mean? So this is not a hairstyle. Like this is just my roots just showing themselves, right? But evolution is, you need a whole different environment now. You know what I'm saying? Like you need all new spaces because so within, so without. So when the evolution starts here, it starts to manifest on the outside. Yeah. So you can go find pictures of me, you can find people that say they knew me. If they haven't been in my life and part of this evolution, they do not know me. You know what I mean? And that's how evolution should feel.
Yeah. Cedric the Entertainer showed you a lot of love.
Yeah, he did the intro to my album. Yeah, that's dope, man. Being from St. Louis and hearing how Cedric did Country Grammar, I always like thought that was dope. So it was simple. You know what I mean? Like, and, you know, I hit him. He was following me already. I hit him up, and he sent that mug back. He like, yeah, nephew, I got you. And so it was dope.
Yeah. Nah, that's what's up. Your song Flow State, you talk about evolution a lot in that song. That's what that song was based around. What was your vibe? What was your mindset when you were creating that?
Man, it's confident, bro. Like I approach songs. It depends on the message, right? But I approach songs with confidence, and again, not the confidence that comes from mankind, like man. It can come from God. So I like to call it Godfidence for real. But like, you know, just being confident and charting my, like, telling it. Like half of the artists I heard that the people love, that the children love, they don't really like the music. They like the energy. They like the confidence of the music. You know what I mean? Like so in that song specifically, it's just me being confident and telling it. You know what I mean? Like I think I said in that song, I said can't nothing stop my flow, boy. I had big dreams when I was sleeping on the floor, boy. Eating syrup sandwiches, drinking water out the hose, boy. I was eating ham, wearing hand-me-down clothes, boy. We was just some boys in the hood getting dough, boy. Was addicted to them streets. No more withdrawals. I'm about to hit the bank and make a withdrawal. Give me 100 bands, about to make some smart investments. Don't judge my book by its cover, boy. This my New Testament. All my first is gospel. I'm a hood apostle. And you know I'm heaven sent. You smell it through your nostril. I was just like talking crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just energy, man. It's just God body energy, man. That's all it is.
Yeah. You got a line where you say, melanin in my skin, they don't want us to win. He a blood, he a crip, they don't want us to blend. If we made in God's image, then I'm calling them twin. Even from what we've been talking about, like from your background and just what you come from and what you have been representing for so long, now when I think of this line again, I even see the evolution.
Yes, sir, man. You know, and even in that line, like that's how I really feel. And you know, that's why I know I'm chosen for this time. You know, I used to push back on a lot of things, as I told you in my story, you know, but I'm chosen for this time. I'm the right messenger, because I'm not afraid to be the messenger. I know what come with it though. You know what I'm saying? When I was in politics, bro, I used to be followed by black trucks. I done got death threats. I didn't have people, the church kicked me out. I done been kicked out by the church. The pastor say I am of the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like, I done had all the systems, the educational system, feel like I've been kicked out of everything, all of it. But it's because my message is too real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, somebody told me this, and I'll say this on her, and I received it very humbly because what they said and what it means to me. But as I've grown, I feel like I get why they said it. Somebody said to me, he say, bruh, I don't know how you're gonna take this, but like, you what Pac would have been if he evolved, like if he grew up, if he had a chance to get through the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? And at that time I didn't receive it because again I honor Pac in such a way. But he was 25 when he passed, right? And I mean, from reading his poetry and listening to music, I do believe that, you know, I'm what a lot of men would be, what a lot of revolutionaries and a lot of like what we consider real niggas or whatever, you know, because a lot of them die young. Yeah. You know what's chilling about my life, brother? I get compared to a lot of people that's not here no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do. Like, you right, boy, you just like, I'm like, damn, can you give me somebody that's alive? You know, but it's because of, normally my energy is so confronting that somebody got to do something with it. They're like, I don't. But for that reason, I've learned, but I'm not all energy. I'm not only energy, I'm intellect. Yeah. So I've learned how to incubate myself, create my own systems. You can't touch it. You know what I'm saying? I know how to pick the right people to put around me. I know how to not go out here and pick the wrong woman. I know how not to pick the wrong people. I know how to not like, so there's intellect. It's not just all energy. And you know, Bob died at 33, Pac 25, Fred Hampton 25. Yeah. I mean, we can keep going, right? My prayers to the Most High, and I think we are in agreement. I feel we are in agreement. I'm going to be one of the first or one of the few revolutionaries that live to get old. My mission is not to die young. So I'm going to stand on my square. God knows it. The ship go down, I go down with the ship. So I love my people. I love black folk. I love us, you know what I'm saying? But I love us enough to be honest with us, and I love us enough to demonstrate for us what it looks like and then invite you on this path. I'm not the other artists out here, I want to say their names, but I'm not the ones that point from the pulpit, point from the point over here and tell you what you're doing wrong. I'm not them, brother. Yeah. I'm out there with the people. I don't see y'all out here. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? I'm out here where it smell like Black and Mild and it smell like backwood and they got a gun on their hips. I got one too. What up? We here, let's pray. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really that, you know what I mean? And so that's why I believe I'm cutting through so quick. But I do it humbly. I'm not better than nobody. I'm just great at being me. Yeah.
You got a song called Routine. Can you share a part of your routine that helps you to keep positive vibrations?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just wrote about it in my my book that's coming out. It's called Sit Yourself Down. But I broke down my whole routine. You know what I'm saying? And this is, I don't want to get on her line and say, oh, I was just perfect at it. I do it every single day. No, I'm not a robot. But this is when I'm optimal. When I'm optimal, when I'm in my flow state, this is my routine that keeps me great. 4:44 rise, 4:44 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Alarm goes, boom. You know what I mean? We active. There's no sun out. There's no noise. We don't touch the phone. We don't doom scroll. We gratitude, pray, talk to God first thing, because your subconscious and your conscious are switching position. You're going from dream state to reality, and if you're able to catch that moment, you know what I'm saying, and speak some affirmations and speak to yourself, right? So I wake up that early, and then I pray, meditate, journal. You know what I mean, and then I'm at the gym. You know what I'm saying, like 3-4 times a week at the gym on the inside, and then we go outside too. But I'm nerd, man, and I'm challenging myself, you know. And then we cold plunge. Cold plunge changed my whole life. That's literally
a game
that's
changer.
the elixir of my life, bro.
Yeah.
When I don't cold plunge, I know what it feels like, and I know what it feels like when I do. I feel like I can do anything. I can run through a wall. You know what I'm saying? So the cold plunging, I really want to recommend that to my people, to the black people, to the community, to the hood, those that don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it calms your nervous system and it fights inflammation, but also you able to, you know, you're able to see what you're made of for real. You know what I mean? So cold plunge, and then we eat right, man. You know what I mean? If you change how you eat, it'll change how you think. Excuse me. So we eat right, and we start off with fruit. You know what I mean? And then we flow through the day, bro. We don't doom scroll, and again, it's difficult. It's so difficult not to. But we don't doom scroll.
Yeah.
Check your phone, do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? But don't scroll, right? You're frying your brain every time you do it. So yeah, we don't do that. And then we in the community, bro. I love being around the homeless. I do. It's a perspective shift. I got a homeless man named Happy. He probably will never see this, but that's my friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I go look for him and I share space with him. You know what I mean? And he keeps me humble and he shifts my perspective whenever I want to complain. So you get out there with the people, and then I journal, I write. I'm a black man that journals, bro. I got journals, I can stack them up against the wall. I journal, I get my thoughts off. You know what I mean? And we pray, man. My prayer life is important to me. You know what I mean? We pray and we build, we read. Contagious, that book changed my life. What Happened to You, by Oprah Winfrey and Bruce, Oprah Winfrey. What else? The Way to Superior Man. You know what I'm saying? The Richest Man in Babylon. The Alchemist. So we read too. So that's just a part of how I stay optimal. And that way, when I can't do it, and people see me running like on this marathon, like, bro, you going. It's because of what I do. You heard me? Like, you may not see me doing it now, but it's because of what I do why I'm able to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I can outpace a lot of people. Yeah. I'm not, and I say that humbly, but it's because of what I do with the 10,000 hours. It's the shadow work, you know what I mean? It's what you do in the shadows that shows, what you're capable of in the light.
Yeah. Folks don't see what happens, beyond the light, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a plant germinating. It's like, you don't see it, building its roots under the ground and spreading and building its base, and then, before it comes above ground.
People don't have a good relationship with the darkness, with their own darkness. Babies born in the dark, plants grow in the dark. You heard me? Darkness is that's how you appreciate light. Yeah. God looked at the dark and said, let me make something out of this. A lot of us we don't have a good relationship with our darkness. We don't want to be around darkness because we don't want to deal with what's exposed in the dark. Yeah. But if you can do that, that's where your growth comes from. And so I'm in tune with my own darkness, bro. That's why I like to wake up when it's dark.
Yeah. Talk to me about your new album, Everything's That Deep, that's dropping in June.
Everything's That Deep, June 5th, brother. It's the texture of the album, the energy, the sound, you remember how music used to make you feel, you know what I mean? And so I'm bringing back that feeling in the music, and I'm excited about it, bro. It's soul music. I'm not afraid to talk about love in my music. Love of self, love of God, and love of people. So it's a lot of just love, man. And it's amazing how me writing that album, I didn't know what my life would end up looking like when this album after it, but. Man, it's just the beauty of music. So Everything's That Deep, man. And the reason I titled it that because I feel like we're not deep enough. I feel like somebody told us that we ain't deep enough or that we being too deep and we just stopped. And so I want to bring us back to depth. But I'm really excited about this album though, yeah.
And you dropped the song 90s Fine with Akeem Ali and Dave State of Mind?
Yeah, that mug going crazy too. And it's just uplifting, it's just speaking to the women. Look, I don't degrade no women in my music. I don't kill nobody in my music. I don't harm my community in my music. And I can out-rap your favorite rapper, you know what I mean? So it's like, what is there, you know, if you don't like that, you just, you know.
Yeah.
But,
and you just announced your tour that's coming up.
Hey, Everything's That Deep tour, man, 10 dates, and we going international after this. So I'm excited, and I just want to show artists, the ones that's in their room when ain't nobody looking, the ones that stand up late, the ones that going to work, then going to work, the ones that's sacrificing. You can do this, brother. You can do this. Build it, and they will come. Build it, and then invite them in it. That is literally what I want to show, and I don't mind giving gems. That's why I live in an open way. That's why you look at my stories, it look like a movie, because I want to literally show, I want to inspire the children, inspire the artists, bro. You can do this. So yeah, we dropping an album, we going on tour, all independently.
All right, that's what's up. Through all your experiences that you've been through throughout your life, what's one lesson that sits with you and that that sits with you and that you can say like helps you get through your days and gets through everything?
That belief is doubt. You only believe because you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, belief is really doubt. Whenever you know something, you don't say you believe it, right? So I don't aim to believe in myself. I don't aim, like, my aim is not belief. My aim is knowing, right? So I just practice knowing in anything I do. And I like to walk in rooms like I'm sent there. I like to speak, with clarity, and like I speak truth to power. And it helps me throughout my day because this world will try to take it from you. As soon as you wake up, you bombarded with, inferiority and, and this, and it's just knowledge of self, bro. Being really at peace with yourself, loving yourself for real. You know what I mean? And that's what anchors me throughout the day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm at peace with myself, man. And I think that as a black man, it's so important because if you don't love yourself, you're not at peace with yourself, you will turn down every woman that you encounter because you don't love you. You know what I mean? So I'm at peace with me. And I practice throughout the day because, again, the thief of comparison, you go on your gram, you go on whatever. Yeah. Nigga, you ain't this, you ain't that, you ain't got this. I go in the mirror and I affirm myself. I'm at peace with everything. My height, my dick size, my money, my bank account, my friends, my this, my that. I'm at peace with it. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't finna come over. Like, that's how I talk to myself. Yeah. Be at peace with you, and then the world, everything makes sense. Then you won't go projecting onto not just women, but just people. You won't be a detriment to your community. Yeah. You won't turn nobody down because you won't turn yourself down. So I practice throughout the day. I'm not perfect at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a repentant man because I have to be, because I fall short of it. But that is my aim. I aim high every day. I aim to treat people like humans and love people, love myself, love my plants, love animals, love everybody. This world want to turn me to a thug so bad, but God protects me, and God surrounds me with people that protect me too. Yeah,
it's constant work, and people don't understand that. People see you from their perspective and think that, that you just automatically got this way, and that you don't have to do the work every single day. We're tested every single day.
That's why you got to study, show yourself approved. I get in that word. I read my Bible, man. You know what I'm saying? But I also read everything else. You know what I mean? I'm a student of it all. You know what I'm saying? It's Christ consciousness. So it anchors me. You know what I mean? When this world try to pull me this way, that way, like, it anchors me, and I know I'm a light, and I know that I have to make the decisions that, not just for myself, but for others, you know what I mean, as well. And so I'm convicted when I don't, and God always brings me back to self, though.
Right. What else you working on, and what else you got coming up that you excited about, looking forward to?
Man, my book is about to come out soon. My second book, Sit Yourself Down. I'm excited about it, you know what I mean, and to get back into that author space. But I've stopped everything else to get her. Yeah. And I'm still growing as an artist. Like, it's so much. I'm gonna win a Grammy. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do some great stuff.
Yes, sir.
But now I'm
Manifest
at a
it.
place where I'm like, okay, now we can invite some other things back to myself. I'm about to do tonight's conversation tonight. I don't normally talk on, like, I ain't no talk piece, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't a nigga with a mic. I don't just get up there and yippity yap.
But they about to have you talking about the men versus women wars and all that.
Watch how I listen. I'm quick on my feet, but I'm telling you, you hear me? I know how to bring it back to where it needs to be. So, but I'm getting back into a space where I just share my deepest thoughts, and my book is a reflection of my deepest thoughts. It's probably the most vulnerable thing I've ever written. Is my poetry. And
the sit yourself down featuring Londrell. That song is crazy.
It's amazing, brother.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I'm gonna say it on her. I ain't never said it nowhere. So I'm gonna give this exclusive joint. But Stevie Wonder heard my song and sent me a message. So I haven't posted it. I don't even know. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. But Stevie Wonder loves the song, I got the whole voice memo, and it ain't AI. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's just amazing. So, and that's bigger than a lot of. I mean, Stevie, one of my favorite artists. I know that my music is. I mean, you know, I read a message online. Somebody compared my music. They said my music make them feel. I like to use context. Make them feel like how Michael Jackson music used to make them feel. Again, personal to them. So I want nobody saying he compared himself to Mike. No, they did, and I'm just repeating it. But I mean, when I first heard "Man in the Mirror," it changed my life. I was in the hood too. So that "Sit Yourself Down" is my "Man in the Mirror, bro. Yeah. And people don't make music that move you no more. Well, you got a few that are, and a shout out to them. I see you. We are the same. But I'm talking about they don't promote music that moves you. You know what I'm saying? That moves the people.
Yeah.
And but I'm not yielding to their promotion and their propaganda and their algorithm. It's God over algorithm, God over industry, God over all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting when you say that's your man in the mirror, because that song is almost like a letter to yourself, or as if you were in the mirror talking to yourself and giving yourself those affirmations.
2 in the morning. I was doom scrolling before that. I got tired of that. I tried to call a chick over. She wasn't coming over. I got tired of it. I felt like I was moving at a speed of light. And I just got tired of it. And I was like, you need to sit down. And I hit my producer. I said, bro, I got an idea. And the rest is history, man. Like and shout out to my producer, Marcel Prowse. He's a genius. You know what I mean? And we just make magic, man. But it all comes from a thought of mine. My music comes from a journal entry. It comes from me living, you know what I'm saying? And then I go into the booth and I make something.
You got any shout outs you want to give?
I mean, shout out to God. You know what I mean? Shout out to God, God body energy, my whole team, all my people. I wouldn't be here without the people that surround me. They protect me, they keep me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a raw soul, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I am, bro. And they keep me grounded in that way. Shout out to all the black women, you know what I'm saying? And the elders and the children. And the black men, man. Shout out to all of us, bro. We need to have more grace on ourselves.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's a new movement I heard, you know what I mean, right now. And I'm definitely one of them leaders of that. And, again, I pray that I resonate, with those I'm supposed to resonate with. Right. So, yeah.
That one-on-one behind you represents knowledge, cipher knowledge. So I appreciate you pulling up,
Mathematics, yes, Lord.
dropping some knowledge on us, bro, and kicking some game.
Yes, Lord. I'm glad to be here, man, and shout out to Off the Porch. Man.
No, for sure. AJ McQueen, appreciate you pulling up, jumping off the porch with us.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Help me realize my demons need some mastery, yeah. Had to go and switch up my strategy, yeah. The other day, deleted pictures out my gallery.